mental health is basically your way of life, your well-being, like how your mental state is.
It has different effects on both the children, both the adolescents, both teenagers. But in children now, when they are happy going through stuff at home, they go to school and they're probably just very, like, they don't pay attention in class anymore. Their attention span is different. They're just trying to be quiet. Like, they are not playing with their peers as usual. And the teachers probably don't even notice it. Some people can never walk into their boss office and be like, "Sir, I'm really going through a lot mentally." Like, man will just look at you like this.
Like, what is okay? Do you understand? Like, they just undermine it.
Until maybe you come in with, maybe you cannot walk, you're paralyzed. And I'm like, okay, you really need to. Sometimes they'll tell you, if you're paralyzed, just sit down.
And you can do the work, exactly.
I am earning 20,000 naira.
And this is how much I can give out. Like,
so this is how much I can give. If the person feels like they need more, I think they should get a job. Welcome to the Timeline Show. Hi there, welcome to another episode of our Timeline podcast. Today's episode is dedicated to one of the most important conversations of our time, mental health. Today we are going to be diving deep into the complexities of our mental well-being. Mental health is not just a buzzword. It's not something that you say because of something did not go the way it was supposed to go. You'd be like, oh, my mental health is in shambles. It goes beyond that. We're going to talk about how mental health resonates with each and every one of us in different capacities, in different degrees. I'm Jennifer Egenti, and I have my co-host with me as usual to discuss this topic. Hi, Precious Jacob. How you doing?
I'm fine, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
I like your new hair.
Thank you. I like yours. So, quick question. Whenever you feel down, whenever you feel like, oh, my mental health is like in shambles, how do you cope with it? How do you keep it grounded? The way you handle it.
I read books, listen to music.
Nerd.
Smart. I read books, fictional books, obviously. Listen to music, pray, eat, then sleep. Because before you think about anything, sleep first. Exactly. How about you?
Well, I also read books too. But I can't even lie. I don't read all these inspirational books because that won't even depress me for that. I read romantic books and stuff. Then I listen to music and also watch funny videos. So you see now that there are different ways people cope with whatever it is that is going on with them. But then there are some people that don't even know that this is something that they need to find a way to cope with it. They didn't find a way to actually solve this issue. They just be like, my life is going down the drain and there's nothing that can be done about it.
They don't even know how to go about it. They don't know that there's even a problem that exists like that. So which is why it's really important to have conversations like this so that people can have a better approach to these situations. Even if I don't recognize it, somebody else that has watched something like this or has seen something like this will be able to recognize it for you and help you. Prefer solutions. People fail to realize that your mental health is practically like your physical health. Just like how you get sick and then go to the hospital and then they prefer solutions to you, give you drugs and all of that. It can be like very, very linked to our physical health. Mental health is basically your way of life, your well-being, how your mental state is. I'm going to read a mental health definition according to the World Health Organization. It says that mental health is a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, learn well and work well, and also contribute to their community. Let's go further to show us that your mental health is basically rules your life.
It actually interlocks with your physical
life, exactly, because they say you can if your mental health is not basically if it's not exactly stable, it affects how you relate with people, it affects how you contribute to your community, it affects how you work, it affects how you talk to people. It is basically everything, right?
I even saw a movie one time where this girl was constantly sick, physically she was very sick. They kept going to doctors, what was wrong with her, not knowing that she was sad about something. She was very sad at a point, it now say affecting her physically. So if your mental health is not properly taken care of and you're having mental health issues and stuff, the next thing you see, your physical health begins to decline.
Exactly. I was about to say that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention states that depression increases the risk for many types of physical health problems, particularly long-lasting conditions like diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. You're shocked, right? I was also so shocked when I saw it because and
the next thing I'm having heart attack. What's going on?
In your head, you're just like, oh, I'm just sad, or things are not just working well, or my mental health is in shambles, in quotes. But then it can affect our physical health as well. That's to show how linked it is.
And the funny thing is, it's not even the thing is, international organizations actually paying attention to these problems.
Yeah.
Because the World Organization also said that it is really important to have these conversations because it helps us understand and support each other better. I already said that. Because I may not recognize the problem, but somebody else will see it and help you, like support you in a way that you're like, so I'm not going alone. I'm not going through this alone.
Exactly. You yourself might not even know. Do you understand?
And it also allows us to break the stigma around mental health because there are so many negative attitudes, beliefs, and stereotypes that people may have towards these issues. Because some people now can be depressed, about a particular thing, and they're just probably in their room, just there, like. But there are people that their mental health problems are things like, they're hallucinating, and those it's like
very severe ones.
Who is this person? Do you get? You don't know
just try
about
to undermine
the topic.
it.
You're already insulting the person. That this person is actually like crazy or something. But then with informations like this out there, with videos like this out there, that's like the conversation is now going around. People are now understanding
creating
more
awareness about the topic.
But the funny thing, the thing is, these mental health problems, these mental health issues in general affect people of different age grades, from children to adolescents to adults to even older adults too. Like, people feel like, it's probably just among the Gen Z or something.
Because actually, that normally it's Gen Zs that use this thing a lot. That's the reason why.
Yes.
Like now, it just feels like a buzzword because like everybody just feels
somebody
like
just. I just hit my leg.
My mental
health is in shambles.
My mental health. Somebody shouted at you. My mental health. Or you did something wrong and then you're probably chastised for it. My mental health. And that's the reason why people feel like it is not like important.
It's not serious.
You get like it's not a serious stuff.
Because you use it more. You're calling. They say you're calling wolf. So now it's like, okay, when it's actually happening to you, you're not trying to differentiate whether it's actually serious or you're just saying it to get out of a problem.
Yeah.
So children experience mental health problems in their homes, in their schools, in their environments around them. They said that 1 in 7 10 to 19-year-olds experience a mental disorder. 10. Tell you 10-year-old children are actually having problems.
Yeah.
But then you just be like, you're a child. People actually say, I want to take me back to when I was a child. Probably the child you're talking to is like, what are you seeing?
Exactly.
Please, what's going on? Because I'm actually going through something here too. Like, what's happening? You see that depression, anxiety, and behavioral disorders are among the leading cause of illness and disabilities in children and adolescents. Like, these people are actually like, whether we want to overlook the fact that they
go through things as well,
but these people actually go through stuff. They in their homes, in their schools, they face different challenges. They are actually like, you see the fact that maybe their parents are putting pressure on them.
Yeah.
For example, like this, the child at home now, they have this idea of what they want their children to be. They probably watch movies where they say, my child is going to be a doctor. I think there's a Korean tradition where when the child is like probably 1 year or 2 and they can crawl, they will put lawyer stuff there. They'll put
anyone he picks.
Then when the child crosses this one, doctor, and that's how they'll start training you. Whether you can play football, whether when you were small, it's your leg you were kicking, and it's football that's probably your passion. You crawl towards doctor,
and then they just pick it for you.
Be.
It's not exactly a bad thing to want to pick a life goal for your children. I mean, it is you that they are looking up to. You as a parent, they are looking up to for their every life. Like, you are supposed to like take them on every path of life, right? But I mean, easy. Do you understand? Like, easy. Hear from them.
Because they have a voice of their own. Exactly. They are human beings. It's okay to guide them. You are the parents. You cannot just say, this
do
is
anything
my child
you want to do, right?
But then when you start imposing your own, like what you wish, your own fantasy, maybe something that you did not achieve as a young adult, you now be like, this is what my child
must do.
You don't see now that they're saying, doctors, lawyers, because those are the ones that have tags. Exactly. Say, why would my child gonna be this one? How would they recognize your role?
Actually, you know that normally children are not like exactly, like, they can't exactly make independent decisions of their own, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, they can actually make decisions and say, I want to be a this, when they are not actually good in that skill. But give them time.
Yeah.
Give them time to realize that they cannot also, like, that you cannot do this thing, and then guide them in the right path. Not unnecessary pressure, because this can lead to a lot of mental illnesses. Like, it just starts from being sad to feeling inadequate, to feeling feeling like they cannot,
because when you're already telling them when they're at home, you're already saying, you cannot do this thing, you cannot do this thing.
Exactly.
The next thing, even they begin to doubt themselves, like, actually, maybe I can't even do this thing. And the next thing, they're like 30, having one midlife crisis.
Exactly. Even in their homes, we see harsh living conditions where the parents are probably going through like a very rough path, or maybe divorce, or maybe poverty. Like, anything at all can happen within the confines of the home that affects them. And this affects them not just in their homes. It affects them when they go out. It affects them when they go to school. It affects them when they like relate with people. Let me say that your parents are going through like very harsh,
messy divorce.
And
then sometimes these parents feel like that the children don't see it. Like, they fight behind closed doors. My children don't see it. I'm trying to protect my child. But you're surprised at the amount of things these children know. Like, I was watching a Korean documentary about this child. This child, like, he went viral because he was just playing with his toys and they were asking him questions and he was like, I just want my mom to play with me. I feel like my mom hates me. I feel like my daddy shouts at me all the time. He uses the same voice he uses for his workers. And people are like these children, his child is very small. But he's seen all this, he's noticing, he's experiencing it. And the next thing, like, it's happening at home. My parents are fighting at home. It's affecting their school.
I feel like these people, like people generally realize that everybody has problems. Or they just feel like, you are just a child. What are you thinking about? You get, like, they link mental health illnesses to how much you think or how much life problems you have. But like, they forget to note that
the life problems of others can actually transcend into your own life.
Exactly.
Because now your parents feel like, oh, the ones with the divorce problems or the ones that know
it's
what
not supposed to affect you.
But it's affecting the child, even down to when they now separate. You now be rotating between my dad. Or what's the options when they now make them choose? They're like, exactly. Oh yeah, you have to pick between your dad and your mom. What? I love both of you. What are you saying?
What am I supposed to do?
And
right?
then this is down for the home. What about in schools where they are faced with peer pressure? And this is not just for even children, even the adolescents too.
Yeah.
They're like, you're trying to conform. They're trying to you be Jew boy or you be Jew girl. You don't want to do this thing. You're looking at this the internet. You're seeing things that people are doing. Like,
media
what am I doing differently? And you see that children are actually thinking about this. Even the children down in the school where they're like, oh, you're not doing well in school. They're trying to mock you for something. Probably forgets that you probably even have dyslexia. You cannot even read properly. But exactly. It's like, you be olodo. Even the teachers put pressures on these children in school because they forget that your work is to educate, your work is to guide, your work is to make sure that people have different learning capacities. But then you're trying to teach everybody at the same time, trying to teach them the same way. And if this person is not catching up, you're insulting them in front of their peers. And their peers will pick this up too and start bullying them about it. Well. Like, teacher called you a daft person, so you are.
Exactly.
And children are even very mean. Like, children are actually very mean when they want to insult.
They can be very mean.
Because if a child calls you ugly, check the mirror because what's happening.
Exactly, because you know that normally these children, they don't have like an independent, like I said, you cannot make independent decisions. So if imagine a teacher saying that about a child, obviously they pick that up and then they just feel like that's the reality. Speaking about even in schools where children go through a lot of things that affects their mental health, people like. As a matter of fact, we're talking about adolescents, right? Adolescents and teenagers. Right? Yeah. They just have this fear of the future, fear of the unknown. What am I going to do in the next 4 years? How am I going to achieve this? How am I going to go through this path that I like?
Bro, at 13, I was writing out life plan.
Exactly.
I was writing out, and now I'm like, this is not what I planned for myself. It's just that I have better education to understand that things don't go the way you plan. But what about those that the next thing that what's happening? Like, I wrote this down. And
if it doesn't go that way, it automatically affects how you think, because in your head you're like, I can't do this. Or maybe you just start having thoughts like I'm a failure or something, like, since I cannot. I mean, we can't exactly blame the children because, like I said, they don't have like an independent, like they cannot exactly think on their own without having the assistance of a parent or a teacher or something. So these mental health issues like really, really affects children, affect adolescents, like teenagers, anybody at all.
And these challenges, can lead to different. It has different effects on both the children, both the adolescents, both teenagers. But in children now, when they are going through stuff at home, they go to school and they're probably just very, like, they don't pay attention in class anymore. Their attention span is different. They're just trying to be quiet. Like, they are not playing with their peers as usual. And the teachers probably don't even notice it. Do you get? And actually some do, because they call the parents and like, is anything going on at home? Because your child is no longer doing the same thing they do in school.
Of course, another way to notice that a child is probably going through a lot of stuff up there is to maybe the child is like probably a very loud person, or the child is somebody that is very, very expressive, and all of a sudden this person is just quiet and maybe all to themselves, or they don't probably like talk to people, they don't relate to people. That is like a red flag already, because the child probably doesn't even know that he has a mental health problem or something. The child can obviously walk to you and say, my mental health is down.
They don't even know.
Or the adolescent, exactly. Like, they don't even know what this is. So like, it is on the part now, it is on the parents, teachers, like everybody, right? As long as you are in a place of authority, in quotes, to now notice and say, oh, this thing is happening with this child. Maybe have a conversation with them, because the children of nowadays, they are like very, very vocal
like
now.
Some of these bullies serve, like, maybe it's probably what they see at home. Because even some of the things they might probably be telling the child or probably telling their peers, probably what they've heard their parents say to each other. So even the fact that the bullies and the ones that are being bullied too could actually be going through something mentally like related, because it's like, oh, my parents are cursing each other at home, so they come to school and try to vent it on people.
Yeah,
because they don't know how to fix it. So they feel like, let me just make you as miserable as I also feel. You get?
Yeah.
And these are like the problems, like these issues, like they affect these children, they affect the adolescents, they affect the teenagers. They don't know how best they can manage the problems around them. And then you also see the fact that they also like isolate themselves from their peers, especially for the adolescents. They don't know how to relate, because it's like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing different with my life? And then they see that instead of me to just even be out there trying to see more depressing things, I'll just
be on my own.
Let me just be on my own. And the parents probably stand up from the bed, go and wash plates.
Do you understand?
It's like, what's actually happening? Like, how best can we now educate the masses to understand that these children, this age grade, go through a lot? And when we come back from our break, we'll talk more about how best we can solve this problem in children, and then mental health in adults and how it affects them in their workplace and relationships. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Timeline Podcast. Before we went on the break, we're talking about mental health in children, adolescents, and teenagers. So now we're going to quickly go into how best we can solve these mental health problems in this age grade. So first of all, you need to maintain a routine with your children. Mealtime, bedtime, even story time. Just make sure that you have something that you do with your kids that is standard. Then you also need to listen to your child's consent. So when they come back from school, ask them, how did school go? You talk to them about it and see if there's an issue that you need to discuss with their teachers. And then also you need to encourage your children's strength as well.
Absolutely. Also, spending time with your children, spend time with them. It could be just maybe an hour after work or something, maybe doing their assignments with them. Regularly asking your child how they are doing, how are you? It goes beyond how are you? Fine.
Yeah.
Like actually
ask them how was school and
and actually like invest your time in them.
Yeah.
Also, acknowledging and respecting your child's feeling. When the child tells you that they're not comfortable with this particular subject, or they're not comfortable with a particular person, take it into
Or you even did something to them that is wrong, and they're like, Mom, I don't like
what you did.
Don't come and start quoting like how in the past your child your parents, you could not talk to your parents.
Absolutely.
So now we're going to go into the mental health in adults.
Yeah.
And this is apparently something that is, we think like that's the only common mental health problem. People say, oh, it's just in adults that, but now we've told you now that mental health happens to children and adolescents. So now for the adults, it can affect them in their workplace, their relationships, their environment at large. Even the person you're living with can be stressing you out. Exactly. But now for workplace problem, for mental health triggers at workplace, the World Health Organization said that globally, an estimated 12 billion working days are lost every year to depression and anxiety at a cost of $1 trillion per year in lost productivity. So now people don't go to work 12 billion times, and then we lose $1 trillion.
12 billion
in workplace. What are we doing to these people?
Do you understand? What are they going through? Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, 15% of working age adults were estimated to have a mental disorder in 2019. People are going through a lot.
Did you get? 2019, that is even pre-COVID though. COVID, exactly. That was the destruction.
A lot of people lost it during COVID because they had to be introduced to new systems. Like maybe the systems were like
even
you were probably already used
that
to.
You don't even want to go to now. You cannot even go
at all. Exactly. Like you're just thinking about yourself. It was
because now how do you even feel? And now there are a lot of risk to the mental health at work. Things that actually affect their mental health at work. You look at the fact that their excessive workload. They told you that when you come, your work is to open the gates.
Absolutely.
The next thing, you're opening the gate and washing the car that goes through the gates.
A lot of employers are so guilty because they just feel like it's cheap labor. I mean, you need a job.
You need the job. You need the money. So if I tell you to do this one, they'll just be adding it small,
little by little.
And sometimes when you even complain, they're like, out. And that's like the job insecurity about it, because your job is not even secure. Now they're not paying you well for what you do. When you complain about
the job of two people,
they fire you immediately. So like, what at this point you're like, what's going on? Like, how am I coping?
How am I supposed to?
Because there's nobody to even talk to.
Yeah, unclear job role. Like you just said, they're telling you to do one and you're supposed to do another one. Some people will tell you, oh, you're supposed to do the job of a receptionist. But then when you go there, you're doing receptionist, you're doing PA, you're doing assistant,
and then they'll be querying you every second.
Exactly. How are you even supposed to do all these jobs? Just one person.
And then
many
even
people's jobs.
The fact that you have long, unsocial, or inflexible hours. Now some people work 9 to 5 and they've dealt with it that it's 9 to 5 I'm going to be doing. Now imagine when they tell you 6, they'll tell you work late, come early. So now you cannot even you cannot even vent to anybody because you have no friends to talk to, because during the duration of your job,
how can you make friends?
Could not
how
make
can
friends.
You relate with people?
Like your mental health to just be everywhere because there's nobody to talk to.
Absolutely.
And your job is stressing you out.
Yeah, one that is even very, very common. Harassment at workplace.
especially by employers, maybe your co-worker that probably has a good image with the employers and all of that.
HR, the person that cannot even fire you
immediately. Like, what do you go through? Like, and most of the times you see that these people, when you ask them, because it's easier for somebody to just say, you're being harassed, why can't you just leave? But then it's not exactly easy, right? Because they will always say there's always somebody else for your job.
Do you get, like, they always tell you that there's
somebody else for your job. So like your own now is just to maybe bear it and then look for another job while staying in the job. So like this thing affects a lot of them. Even if you're not even being harassed at work, maybe you're being spoken down to, like they just treat you like
something I even like applaud is the fact that now everybody's looking at it, because if you see during the course of my research, most of the things I was seeing were from like World Health Organization. They're actually looking into this problem and how best we can solve it, because they said more than half the global work rate works in the informal economy where there is no regulatory protection for health and safety. These workers, so now they recognize that these people they don't recognize, there's no regulatory protection for them. So now these workers often operate in unsafe working environments, work long hours, have little or no access to social or financial protections, and face discrimination, all of which can undermine their mental health.
This is the World Health Organization.
You get, like, they've actually understood the fact that these people are working in jobs that on a normal day, if you had more funds, if you had more like ways to actually improve your financial health, you would not be doing it. But now you're doing it, and now they don't even care about what it's doing to your mental health. There's no financial protection. Your job is insecure. There's nothing. So, and this is why, like, it's very important that as we have actually recognized these problems, that we find solutions for them too.
Yeah.
Because the same World Health Organization recommended that employers implement organizational interventions that directly target working condition and environment. So now there are things that are in place already to make sure that the working conditions are very, very superb. They send regular inspections to make sure that the people that are working under you are not just doing cheap labor. You're not
doing the work of
abusing
two people,
your position, and that the person too that is working with you is also happy about it, because when everybody's happy, there's productivity. When people are talking, like when people are actually clear about their job design, when there's no understaffing, the jobs are shared equally among people actually feel eager to come to work and make you work.
I feel like this is like very, very nice, because the workers are now able to speak up. Because normally when things like this happen in the workplace, maybe they just talk to a few people, maybe their family and all of that, but now they're like interventions by other people, like outside bodies that you can like talk to.
They also created an enabling environment for change through leadership and commitment to mental health at work. They invested sufficient funds and resources to make sure that people comply with the laws and regulations too. So now, like, not only are they even making sure that these things are there, they are making sure that people there are accountable for it. That it's not just that, we're going to do inspection today, they will not now show up. No, they're actually going there. They're checking, because people's health matters. Their mental health matters. So some people can never walk into their boss office and be like, "Sir, I'm really going through a lot mentally." Like, man will just look you like this.
Like, what is okay? Do you understand? Like they just undermine it.
Until maybe you come in with maybe you cannot walk, you're paralyzed, and I'm like, okay, you really need to. Sometimes they'll tell you, if you're paralyzed, just sit down.
And you can do the work, exactly.
Yeah. So we've talked about how mental health affects adults in their workplace. How about relationship?
Yeah, people
like,
go through a lot.
Where it's supposed to be your safe space, like if your work stress you, let me come
go home.
But as you're coming, somebody's dragging you like this. So provide for me. Give me money for food, this kind of thing. This is a problem that these people face in a relationship. The inability to provide. It poses as an issue. It could come from either the man or the woman, because it's like, they forget that this country is already like stressful already, and like people are trying their best. They want a certain type of, maybe especially like maybe they're looking at the fact that my friends, they just bought this thing, or they just did this one, and you're looking at them and trying to put that pressure on your partner. And you're like, you need to give me this money. The person is trying to talk to you. I'm trying to make you understand. I was even like, I saw something where the person was like, he like they were going through something. They were going through a financial problem, and then his girlfriend and told him that she needed a wig. And he was like, there's no money for the wig. What she told him is, just pray that God will not maltreat you the way you're maltreating me.
That's not even priority.
He said he went to his office and looked at his future in the next 10 years and realized he cannot do this. Like, this is not what he wants to go. Now, some people, they don't even realize. They just go into it thinking that, we'll walk through it along the way. Person will probably change. And they find that it's not possible. Now you're like stressed outside.
Exactly. Because a lot of people expect change from their partners, especially partners that are abusive. Abusive partners. Like, this can do It's too much.
Yeah.
Especially in a country like Nigeria, where we're like so religious, where they say, oh, you can't divorce once you are joined together, nobody can put asunder and all of that.
Messy divorces. Speaking of divorce, the fact that okay, now people have realized though that people are not compatible. To go separate ways is now wahala.
It can be very hard.
Like to go separate, it's not even about it's not even about how you even cope with the person not being
without.
It's not like this person is trying to collect the little way you get, like you're trying to collect your properties, or it's now ending in insults. You're dragging each other all over.
You have to now go through two different courts and go through too many hearings and all of that just to separate with your partner. A lot of relationship harms. Also, poor mental health of your partner. For instance, your partner probably has a poor mental health, and then you don't even know.
Yeah,
they probably try to like unleash it on you. And you yourself, you don't even know. That will just cause everybody's mental health is like
the person with already a previous mental health problem, his own will degenerate. Your own is now like it's coming from their
him,
own.
or her.
So at this point, like, who is even going to work on? Is it that the partner will have to now listen to this person and try to understand?
That's the reason why.
You that have issue actually gonna fix, like,
that's the reason why we're having conversations like this, because I said this person might probably not even know it. So like now
you can now
watching
understand
us
that
exactly, you now understand that exactly that this is a problem that should be fixed, and then how to fix it as well.
Because some of them will actually go through stuff at work and just transfer it on their partners. Like, I mean, I can't even lie. Even myself, I've been in situations whereby I was angry about something, and the next thing I just go, man, first person that talks to me is the person that just collects, and that person too will just feel like, okay, and it's angry, why transfer aggression? So all these things are like really things we need to look at. For people that are having like relationship issues in terms of providing, you sit down and have clear conversations with your partner.
Tell them this is
what is going on.
This is how much I earn. Because
they feel like they're trying to. Some of them they keep it away from their partner because they're trying to protect their partner.
I don't see that as protection.
No, but like, people are married. People said it in your vows. We are one. So you tell your partner,
exactly,
I am earning 20,000 naira,
and this is how much I can give out. Like,
so this is how much I can give. If the person feels like they need more, I think they should get a job.
Exactly.
You don't need to now stay and be leeching off somebody because.
And also, when your partner tells you stuff, listen to your partner. Try to be understanding. Do you understand? Like when your partner tells you this and that, or this is how it is, understand them.
And you can
give them, just be their safe space.
You can have conversations with people without even being abusive.
Exactly.
You get, because some of them they cannot just talk without trying to insult the person. And that's what causes trouble, because a lot of people now be like, they shout at me, they don't like, the moment you just start talking to them the way they don't like, they're already coming at you.
Exactly.
So you see that this mental health problem in general, and in conclusion, is that it affects different people. It affects children, it affects adolescents, it affects adults. And there are different ways that don't even cost money, because now we look at the fact that therapy is also an option. People go to like family marriage therapy, children are sent to therapy to deal with it, but then there are also cost-effective options.
Exactly. Like there are times where your child or your adolescent probably just needs you to listen.
Yes.
Like it is not exactly as
heavy
bad
on
as
that, actually.
It's not exactly as bad as taking them to therapy. I'm not saying that therapy is an option to be shunned on, right? You can actually take them to therapy after you listen to them, because if you don't know what the problem is, how do you know that you're supposed to take them to therapy, right? Maybe just the attentiveness of the parents.
There are cost-effective options that people can actually implement that can help both their children, help their their adolescents, even help the adults, even in the workplace too. I feel like there are also ways, like, thank God that the World Health Organization actually looking at ways so there are people that you can actually like talk to that will help you with like how best you can manage your mental health problems. So my personal advice to everybody out there is that just when you speak good into your life, you actually emanate good things out there. And Absolutely. So when you're like telling yourself that the world is beautiful, I am beautiful, you look at the world as a beautiful place, you focus more on like the good things
what you see is what you see.
So my dear Coach, do you have anything to add?
So I have something to add. Basically, right, when you know that somebody or a particular condition is affecting your mental health, maybe not exactly cut it off, but like take yourself out of that situation. If it's at a workplace and then you know that this particular boss or this particular superior is causing some sort of infringement on your mental health, just find a way.
There are people too that will actually feel that way. You might feel like you're going through it alone. Maybe when you even talk to another person, you see that they can actually all of you can actually speak up and create the change you need in your work.
Thank God for World Health Organization that is actually putting an eye on the workplace and the work environment of adults.
So this conversation is really important to help in actually breaking down this chain of like, this stigma and the fact that people are afraid to talk about their problems. It affects different age groups, it affects different people, and it's best that we find a way to pinpoint these problems and actually solve them. I wish we had more time to actually talk about this topic, but then I hope that with the little we've shared, it will help you in actually acquiring a better mental health stability, as well as those around you also, have better ways to handle their mental health. Don't forget to follow us on our social media handles at
Healed Network.
Keep the comments respectful as usual. I'm your host, Jennifer Egenty.
And I am Precious Jacob.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.